Hey guys, Corey Correa here. Welcome to Blue Talks, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Well, we are right on time for rain in Southern California. Hello, UCLA. Go Bruins. I have no idea what that even means. I'm not a sports person. I see it all over the place, though. And I think one of the things that I had this real big calling for was to be a preacher. And I don't really want to be a preacher because that's having a job. But I'm going to start this by pretending, if you will, that we're having a sermon. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Sounds like a nice start, right? You may have even heard that. The idea about the word in that phrase has been very misunderstood and misinterpreted. The etymology of the word comes from the Greek logos. What does logos mean? Well, you can look it up, and my version of it is it's the animator of the universe. It animates our life. We are the animators of our life. We are the script writers. We are the directors. We are the producers. So what does that mean exactly, though? Words are not just spoken words. Words are every action that you take, every belief that you have, every feeling that you embody, and that is your logos. And for modern day terms, that is your logo. We hear about logos all the time. I talk about business people all the time. What's your logo gonna be, right? What is your logo? So I'm gonna ask you, what are 5 words that a friend of yours would use to describe you? That's your logos. Now, you may know what those words are. You may be surprised by some of those words, and yet that is our logos, and that is how we are animating our life. And so when we say things such as, I can't stand the way that person thinks. I hate you. You are my enemy. We are talking to ourselves because we are the universe. We literally are little godlings sitting here having an experience called life. We call it our reality. And no one is creating it but us. So when you are talking to another human, a plant, an animal, you are speaking to yourself. And I talk about this in my book, Your Inner Billionaire, from the perspective that we all are living a money story. Because I'm an abundance teacher. I'm not a minister. I'm an abundance teacher. And I teach the very first thing that everyone must do if you want to change your circumstances, because that's what we call our reality, is you have to begin to see your money story. You can't rewrite a story unless you know what the story was to begin with. So your money story is founded in your logos. You created it when you were very young. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a sneak peek, a preview, as they call it in the movie industry, of your money story. Because this is the very first step that everybody must take in order to begin to see a different money story. So if you would indulge me, I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to be imagining that you're on a timeline. You're lifting above yourself right now on a virtual timeline. And you're going to go backwards in time. I want you to go backwards in time 10 years, then 20 years. Some of us are going to go back even further than that. And I want you to imagine you're around 10, 8, 6 years old. And I want you to look down. I don't want you to drop down in the timeline. I want you to look down on that version of you and notice, when was the first experience that you ever had where you had an understanding of this thing called money? Maybe it was your parents saying there's not enough. Maybe you went to a church and you learned about the root of all evil. Maybe you constantly knew your parents couldn't write a check for the electric bill and the electric man came every month to shut it off. I want you to really get into that moment. What was that experience? Who was there? And now ask your inner wisdom, what was the message that I received? What did you learn about money? Now bring yourself up on the timeline, come back here, drop down into this room. And I just want to get an idea of some of the things that showed up for you. So who wants to share a little opportunity right now to voice what your logos was around money? Who's brave enough to do that? Yes.
That there wasn't enough.
There wasn't enough. That's a very common one. Who else has something else that you might have just said today, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that was my story.
It's very fleeting that when I spent money, it saved up a bunch, and I bought a bike for myself, and I outfitted it, and it got stolen.
Yeah.
And my dad lectured me about protecting what we have because that might have been your only shot.
Yeah. So these messages we've talked about, I've heard a lot of speakers today talk about the stories, the messages that we all receive. It's not just the message that we receive. We take them in and then we create this logos around it. And then we keep repeating the patterns. And we look at our life and say, look at so-and-so over there. They have so much. Why don't I have that? And the fact is that it's just our story. So we have to begin to rewrite that story, because the truth is, and I teach this over and over and over, is that nature is our model. So if you walk out into nature, it is a perfect demonstration of abundance being everywhere. It just is. And the other thing is the trees don't sit around and go, you have more apples than I do, right? So now I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Or you have way more apples than I do, so somehow you must be greedy and evil. And the fact is that we've created all these beautiful stories around money. I love the idea of stories. I had an opportunity, as I shared it many times, that this teacher in 5th grade was my favorite teacher of all time. She looked like she came straight out of Leave It to Beaver. June Cleaver. She had high heels and a dress. I don't know of any teachers that teach these days that wear high heels and a dress, but she wore high heels every single day, and I was absolutely gobsmacked about it because I wanted to have high heels. The only thing I ever wanted out of the Sears catalog my whole life was those little girl high heels. And so we have these desires, we have these things planted in our heart that we push down. I got to wear high heels after many, many years, and you can tell I don't wear high heels anymore. Now I'm 70 years old, and that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is the fact that I also learned about a brilliant book called Charlotte's Web. And this spider saved the life of a pig with 5 words. So that's why I want to bring you back to, what 5 words would a friend of yours say about you that represent who you are? Because we all live in this interesting pickle jar that we can't see the label. We don't really know who we are. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend for all of you, as soon as you leave here today, go call a friend, phone a friend, and say, what 5 words represent who I am to you? Now, call somebody that you really trust. Don't call the person that you know can't stand you, because they're going to give you bad information. We have these people in our lives that know us better than anyone. And those are reflective of how our logos is showing up in the world. And it's so important to begin to understand that this world is being created in such a magical way by us. And everything out there is just a reflection of that. And if we want to begin to see that world differently, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. I remember when I was in kindergarten, we had snack time, and there was finger painting. And then about mid-afternoon, they would roll out these mats and we would all lay down. We don't do that anymore. These poor kindergartners, they're just like, go, 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 go. Everything is go right now. And I am here to tell you that this is about being. And the only way to be more, to receive more, even though we don't need more, we just need to reveal who we are, is to slow down, is to be present, is to engage with yourself, with this oneness, with the Holy Ghost, if you will. because that is where the magic is. And so we need to bring back into our world this idea of slowing down. It is the feminine energy that's asking to be activated so that we can all connect. And it isn't about one or the other. It's about the balance, the yin and the yang of feminine and masculine energy. We can't have one without the other. The duality is that I have light and I have dark shades. And when you begin to dance with those, the whole world becomes technicolor. And it's so beautiful to represent that idea to women especially, because we have forgotten that. We have bought into the hustle line instead of the beautiful flow. And not that men don't have it, it's just that it's so beautiful in women to connect with that. So today I want to ask you, when you go home tonight, I want you to really reflect on what that money story started to tell you. It would be really cool if you got the book because it's got all kinds of activities in there, processes. What I share about that book is it's a portal. It's a portal to understanding and revealing your inner billionaire. She's here right now. She's inside every single one of you. There is not a spot where she is not. The only difference is that we say, I can't see her. I don't want her. I'm not enough. And our voice, our logos, our words are so powerful. And if we begin to notice that in the world, we hold the space. Instead of saying, I push back against any of that energy, let it come in. Fill it with love. Let it be that space where we are holding the energy to uplift the planet. One person in a meditative state with holding that consciousness can change more than any protest ever dreamt of, because you have that power of connection, and connection is the essence and the energy, the frequency of the entire universe. And it starts with the principle of love. It is activated by love. And if we push back against another human or animal or plant, we are pushing back against ourselves. I learned years ago that I was in 12-step programs. I don't have time to tell you all my stories about cancer and drug addiction and those wonderful experiences. And yet, in 12-step, we used to say, you spot it, you got it. And they meant that when we looked at somebody when they had a trait that we didn't like. But here's the real truth is, you spot it, you got it. So if you see beauty, or you see compassion, or you see connection, or you see love in somebody else, that's because you have it inside of you. And it's so important to connect with that. So go out and look for that. Be that experience. Be expecting that love and that compassion and that beauty, because you are it.